Yon! Hey! What's up mga kariktards? Yes! So, may pa-sound effects na tayo. What's up? Magandang gabi po sa inyong lahat. Once again, THERICKMATTHEWS in the house. Once again, welcome to another episode of Voice of the Boys. With your host, THERICKMATTHEWS. Like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more Voice of the Boys and real talk topics. So, ayan. So, ano bang pag-uusapan natin for today? Let's get straight into it. So, for this week's episode, we're going straight to Karate Kid. So, let's talk Karate Kid, or sa mga new fans dyan, on Netflix, Cobra Kai. So, ang pag-uusapan natin is the movies from Karate Kid 1, 2, and 3, and of course, all the way going to Cobra Kai Season 1, 2, and upcoming Season 3 this January 2021. Malapit na malapit po mga kariktards yung ating third season, and I'm very excited. But before everything else, let's analyze everything from the start, from all the way to Karate Kid 1 to the present day. Para sa mga newbies dyan or sa mga casual fans dyan, baka mabigyan kayo ng mga panibagong knowledge and maybe more perspective sa ating mga Karate Kid and Cobra Kai characters. But without further ado mga characters, once again, nandito na naman po for the third time. Mukhang regular regular guest na natin tong tropa natin na to. Ladies and gentlemen, Ricktards, please help me welcome once again. Nandito na po si Joshua Ravelas.
Hello guys.
Welcome back, brother. Good to have you back
brother.
again.
Glad to be back.
Yes, all right. Kamusta ka naman, sir?
So far, doing better. What about you?
Good. Okay naman. Kakakain lang ng dinner, all energized, ready for the our episode for tonight, Karate Kid, Cobra Kai. Nako, one of the series movies close to my heart as well. And alam mo, saktong-sakto, this week I had a little bit of a Karate Kid marathon from Karate Kid 1 hanggang 3. So ang kulang ko lang in the next Karate Kid.
Oh yes. That's a good marathon.
Kaya nga, nakakamiss lang. You know, the first time I watched the movie series was, grabe, I think I was 6 or 5. And honestly, wala akong masyadong naalala. Other than the crane kick, pati yung wax on, wax off. Diba? Yung mga chores, pati ano ba bang mga naalala ko nun? Si Kumiko sa Karate Kid 2 doon.
Yes.
Pero nung napanood ko ulit, lalo na as an adult, as I grew up, mas nagkaroon ako ng mas malawak na perspective on yung history and the Easter eggs, kumbaga Easter eggs ng Cobra Kai na galing sa original movie. Ang dami, sobrang dami. And I'm expecting so much more on the next season. But for now, of course, pag-usapan muna natin I want to talk about the first movie na to discuss. We're gonna discuss each characters. So, unahin na natin, of course, ang kahisa-isa, the OG master of the Miyagi-Do, none other than
Mr. Keisuke Miyagi.
Mr. Miyagi, diba? The OG, kumbaga siya yung he's the granddaddy of them all pagdating sa Miyagi-Do. I think he is I don't know pang ilang generation na si Mr. Miyagi, but it went from ever since 1600, ang alam ko 1600 yung sabi niya from his nagkaroon siya ng his ancestor all the way going from Okinawa, and then nakatulog siya kasi 'di ba ang lineage nila is fishermen.
That's true.
So karamihan sa kanila are fishermen. So yung pinakaunang one of the earliest ancestors ni Mr. Miyagi, I forgot the name, ano din But ang nangyari sa kanya, nakatulog siya habang nangingisda. Up to a point na he landed in China. Tapos doon siya nanirahan for 10 years. And
yeah, that's true.
During those 10 years, natuto siya ng karate. And eventually, he formulated the Miyagi-Do at dinala niya yun all the way, going back to Okinawa, Japan after 10 years. So, doon nagsimula ang lahat. And ever since doon sila sa Okinawa there's a small village, I forgot the small village, na doon sila nanirahan, and that's where they taught Miyagi-Do, a form of karate.
That's true. Pero may trivia rin ako sa'yo for that.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, kasi si Mr. Miyagi is named after one of the current the previous masters of the real karate, which is Goju Ryu. Miyagi-Do's karate is basically based from Goju Ryu karate. Kaya makikita mo, mamaya rin. I'm sure siguro nakuha mo rin yung image na, di ba, doon sa trailer ng Cobra Kai. There is this one instance where Mr. Miyagi's photo is there, but there is another person that's in a kimono that you don't know.
Talaga?
That is the real Miyagi.
Wait. I think, para alam kaya, are you pertaining to the real Mr. Miyagi?
Yes.
Ito. Wait lang. Meron ako niyan. Yes. In fact, nakita ko siya kanina. And I was surprised. He actually was Mr. Miyagi's stunt double. Ito, nakuha ko na si Mr. Fumio Demura. Correct?
Yes.
And he's a 9th Dan, tama ba? Yan!
That's one of the others.
Oo. So, ito yung kita mo, they almost look, ang ganda ng the resemblance is uncanny. And another fun fact pala, nababasa ko dito, in fact, siya yung he also trained Bruce Lee. Siya din ang isa sa mga nag-training kay Bruce Lee. Nung nasa in the LA, in Los Angeles, California.
That's kind of true as well.
So, siya yung tinatawag na the real Miyagi nga daw. Ika nga Pero galing, no?
Marami rin actually lineages in between different kinds of karate that were integrated also in both Cobra Kai and Karate Kid.
Yes. And I think both are different styles of karate, di ba?
Actually, I have another review for that one.
Yeah, man.
Basically, Cobra Kai's karate is basically more on kicks. It's basically taekwondo.
Ako nga, pansin ko nga, ang Cobra Kai, no?
That's their style.
Oo. So I'm not sure, is taekwondo a form of karate, or taekwondo is a total different league of its own?
Actually, it's both. Kasi based from my experience, kasi since I also practice taekwondo, that was my original art as well. So with taekwondo, it had come from two things. If you are aware of Bruce Lee's martial art, Jeet Kune Do, it's also based on that.
Yan yung inimbento ni Bruce Lee, diba? Jeet Kune Do.
Jeet Kune Do. And I'm also a practitioner. Then the other one is with Shotokan Karate.
Shotokan, yun. Okay.
Shotokan is one of the basics from the kata. The kata that you see there is also used in the forms in Taekwondo. Kaya you would see similarities.
So when you say kata, yun yung ano, 'di ba? Yun yung nakita ko sa Karate Kid 3, yung parang sayaw siya eh. It's a form of meditation, yung gumaganon-ganon. 'Di ba tawag doon kata?
Actually, that's the basic of forms. Kasi kata kasi is teaching you muscle memory. So basically, for each form, there is a purpose for each strike, each punch, each kick, and it's also used in tournaments. Kaya marami siyang integrations din, even in practical combat.
Okay. Nice.
Yeah, it's one of the most iconic things that you would see in karate or any other martial art. They have their own unique forms. Pero ito rin yung trivia ko rin dyan. The word kata means picture frame. So, pansin mo, every time that you move, you have the frame of the master. So, basically, when you move, you're moving like the master. So, that's what kata is. To pass on the teachings of the master, then until you can create your own form.
I see. Okay. So parang copy, tama nga naman, that's a good philosophy. Siyempre, kanino ka nga naman may ano ba yung basihan mo? So of course, you learn from the master and eventually you'll make it your own, 'di ba? And that's how life works eh. Na kita mo like sabihin natin pagdating sa what do you call this Michael Jordan, sino man naging idol ni Michael Jordan? Si Dr. J. But then again, Michael Jordan did not become Dr. J. Michael Jordan became Michael Jordan. 'Di ba? So parang ganun. And that's when you know that you've already established yourself. So magandang philosophy yun, no? Uy, basa mo na tayong comments.
Yes, tingnan natin yung comment section.
Hi Janine! Yes! Hi Jan! Uy! Galing lang sila sa show kanina. Kamusta? Yes! Oh!
Our Boys Girls.
Nako, panoorin mo yung if you're still watching Janine, do watch Cobra Kai. You're gonna love it. Sobra. To all the Ricktards watching out there, sa mga hindi pa nakakapanood ng the Cobra Kai series, very popular right now. Please do so. Libre siya sa YouTube. I think season 1 is still there. Just type in Cobra Kai season 1 and mapapanood nyo dun yung pilot episode and all the way. I'm not sure kung hanggang episode 12, but you will definitely see it on YouTube for free. So do watch it. We highly recommend it. Lalong-lalo na for Karate Kid fans here. Tulad ni Ma'am L.A. Lady Ann Briguera. Yes, hello, Ma'am L.A. of the Microphone Club
Lady
Show. Hello, magandang gabi po sa inyo. Thank you for tuning in, the voice of the boys. Alright, for our ladies and for our gentlemen subscribers and followers, we hope you will enjoy this episode, especially if you're a Karate Kid fan. So yun, ang napag-uusapan natin for tonight, Mr. Miyagi. Ngayon, Josh, sino bang kabaliktaran ni Mr. Miyagi? Of course, if you have Mr. Miyagi on one side,
You
the
have
other
John
side.
Kreese.
Yes, you got it right, sir. We have John Kreese, of course. And ang maganda kasi dito is both of them are sobrang opposite to each other, have opposite beliefs. Ayun nga, kita mo, very aggressive. Ito yung pinaka-ano niya sweep the leg, di ba? Yan ang pinaka-famous line niya. You have a problem with that, di ba? Nagkaroon pa ng reluctance si Johnny Lawrence nun eh. Kasi, technically, it's an illegal move, di ba?
But ironically, the crane kick is also an illegal move.
Oh, yun. Oy, pag-uusapan natin yun. Tama. Actually, ang weird, no? Pero, he was still granted ng referee as the winner. So, ironically, it was an illegal move, but they still managed to give the win to Daniel LaRusso. Nakakatawa lang.
Actually, may interesting fact din ako dyan. This happens also in tournaments kasi. But I'll mention it later.
Yes. So, ang characteristics naman ni John Kreese, grabe. Iba siya, like, kung si Mr. Miyagi, very silent, very stoic. Ang tinatawag doon, stoic, di ba? Parang calm. Very parang hindi
composed.
siya... There you go, composed, you're right. John Kreese is almost the entire opposite. Pero it's sometimes it's kind of disturbing din kasi siya yung tipong may mga characteristics ng PTSD.
I agree with that one.
'Di ba?
Parang
Kasi,
si,
'di ba?
Major
Parang
Pain.
yung... Oo, yeah, you said that a couple of weeks. Ikaw nagsabi nun, 'di ba, si Major Pain?
Yes,
Na the
totally.
way he teaches karate, Cobra Kai, is parang it's so the extreme form of real life na you're not sabi nga niya, 'di ba? Fear does not exist in this dojo. Pain does not exist in this dojo. Kasi the reason he says that because in real life, they don't care about your feelings. They don't care if you're hurt or not. So might as well, 'di ba? Be prepared. Might as well na unahan mo na sila. Kaya nga strike first, strike hard, no mercy. So if you know that there's someone na alam mong kakalabanin ka, patumbahin mo na kagad. So that yun ang philosophy ng Cobra Kai and John Kreese, 'di ba? Which is actually, kung napapansin mo kay Mr. Miyagi, he is the exact opposite of John Kreese na like nasabi nga natin kanina. Kasi sa Karate Kid 3 and 2 na, do you remember Karate Kid 2, si Sato?
Yes.
Yung kanyang pag-uusapan natin later. Na iniiwasan niya si Mr. Miyagi, iniiwasan niyang ni Mr. Miyagi kalabanin si Sato because he doesn't see parang walang sense daw ang violence eh.
There are three other factors din kasi.
Yeah.
That we'll mention later.
Sige. Samantalang si John Kreese, in order to solve problems, violence is always the fists. You use the fists to solve the problems agad-agad. So ganun siya, and better if you break the parang ang philosophy niya, break them first before they break you back. So kailangan hindi na sila makatayo. Kaya nga strike first but strike hard. So ibig sabihin nun, hindi na sila makakatayo, hindi na sila makakapalag. So ganun yung philosophy ng Cobra Kai, 'di ba? For Miyagi-Do, karate is for defense only.
And the way of life.
Yun. And napapansin mo, 'di ba, if you watch yung style ni LaRusso tsaka ni Miyagi, mostly counter-attacks. They don't strike first.
Which is also true.
Pansin ko
For
yun.
me, I have a relation to this. Kasi usually, this is what we call the samurai philosophy. Because usually in samurai teaching, we usually let our opponents go first because we observe. The good part about it is that you reserve your energy to bring back the energy back to your opponent. That's how it is. May it being karate-do or in swordsmanship.
Parang like kung kunyari nakaiwas ka sa kunyari, the opponent strikes first and you launch a counter-attack. Mas masakit daw ang damage pag na-counter-attack.
Yes. Kasi
bakit?
Based experience ko kasi with counter-attacks kasi they come with two forces. So you get the opponent's force and you combine it with your own. Kaya mas siya.
Tsaka I think it's it's like catching your opponent off guard eh. Kasi pagka counter-attack mo, you weak yung the vulnerable spot. So masakit kasi hindi sila handang makatanggap ng suntok na yun eh, 'di ba?
That's true. And it grants you more of a time to survive. Kasi the real essence naman of martial arts is to survive.
Tama. But unfortunately, kay John Kreese, masyado niyang ginalingan. Parang laki ng galit niya sa buhay, no? Yun siya. So he's parang nadala niya kumbaga yung philosophy niya sa war. Kasi di ba he was a captain nung Vietnam War, na idala niya yun sa real life. And unfortunately, hindi siya applicable or masyadong extreme yung kanya. Na to the point na yung sobrang physical abuse na yung ginagawa niya sa mga estudyante niya, 'di ba?
You're blinded by hatred kasi.
Exactly. Tsaka yung style niya, he doesn't accept second place. 'Di ba? At the beginning of Karate Kid 2, halos patayin na niya si Johnny Lawrence.
I feel saddened for Johnny Lawrence, especially during
Sobra.
his childhood. What Cobra Kai taught me with this
Diba?
one. Ano,
Ito yung itsura nila
walang
ngayon.
confidence kasi si Johnny dati, diba?
Oo, alam mo, that's why Cobra Kai is very important sa mga watchers, sa mga Ricktards natin dyan. It's important that as a Karate Kid fan, please watch Cobra Kai. Kasi Cobra Kai, it sheds light sa story ni Johnny Lawrence. And mas mararamdaman mo, makakasimpat siya ka sa kanya eh. Totally. And actually, there will be points na mabubwisit ka rin kay Daniel LaRusso. Kasi parang may PTSD rin. Parang pag si Daniel LaRusso yung tipong pag makarinig ng Cobra Kai, parang pumipitik. Parang nagkakaroon siya ng PTSD sa Cobra Kai, which is highly understandable sa pinagdaanan niya, di ba?
And one thing that changed Kreese kasi is his way of life was moving around. Usually in a typical soldier setting. So it really took toll on three things: his mental health, that's one.
Sobra.
Number two, it also took on his physical health.
Totoo.
And at the same time, his spiritual health din.
And parang lagi niyang linya yun eh. Lagi niyang sinasabi na, you have no idea with the things I saw during the war. You have no idea how horrible life is. Which is totoo nga naman. Kaya karamihan ng mga sundalo, like imagine seeing your partner blown up in front of you. Yung mga ganong, may mga ganong scenario talaga eh. Na may brotherhood ka, tapos makita mo yung brother mo mamatay ng ganon. So that really PTSD is totally understandable. Kaya siguro si John Kreese nagkaganon, no? I think it's a severe form of PTSD.
Yes, I agree with that one. And you this in different people, not just people who are instructors. It can be almost anybody.
Yes, and grabe, basta may malaking trauma sa buhay, no? And yun na nga and ang naging evident doon was nung season 2 may linya si John Kreese noon he tried to re-enlist sa army pero hindi siya pumasa sa psychology sa psychology part. Yun, 'di ba? So ibig sabihin may something nga sa kanya. 'Di ba? So ngayon, since speaking of John Kreese, syempre pag-usapan natin si the one and only, ang bida, yes, ang bida ng Cobra Kai, Johnny Lawrence himself, di ba?
Oh, yes.
So, of course, so Johnny Lawrence, ang pinaka-kontrabida ng Karate Kid, but the main protagonist of Cobra Kai. Di ba? In a way, no? He is what you call, di ba napag-usapan natin to last few weeks? He is an anti-hero.
Anti-hero. And a redeeming hero.
Tama. And ang galing, no? Because the series was able to beautifully portray his character na kahit hindi siya mabuting tao or he learns, you can see the character development sa kanya, but at the same time, he stays true to his core na talagang pa rin siya, maangas, badass pa rin siya, di ba? Yun ang maganda eh. And of course, sa mga nanood ng Karate Kid fans, ng Karate Kid 1 rather, this is one of the first scenes of Johnny Lawrence. Diba? So, ito yung unang scene nila ni Johnny Lawrence, nung nakita nila si LaRusso na nakikipag-flirt kay Ali. Diba?
That's true.
So, ayun, binugbog nila si Daniel. So, dun mo may establish na si Johnny yung the main bad guy. Because during that time, parang si Johnny Lawrence, kaka-break lang nila ni Ali, no, female protagonist ng Karate Kid. So yun, pero at the same time, ang perspective naman ni Johnny Lawrence is, girlfriend ko yan. Bakit? Kahit nasabi mong break kami, siguro ang gusto lang, kasi may line siya, he's trying to set things straight. So he wants to have at least closure. Tapos makikita niya parang, nakikipaglandian na kagad to. Diba? Ano mararamdaman mo? So may sense,
we've all been there.
So yeah, yan, and ito let's on a fast note, ito yung the Cobra Kai boys, yan.
Although kulang sila ng isa.
Si Dutch. Wala si Dutch,
Si
no?
Dutch.
Actually, sa series, wala din siya eh. So, I forgot the first one. Pinaka-left. Sino nga ba yan?
Hindi ko naman din maalala yung guy niya.
But I'm sure, for sure, the second to the left is Bobby. And of course, yung favorite natin, si Tommy, and God rest his soul. He just died a few months ago. And ironically, he just died sa series. Sorry, spoiler alert. So he just did, and in the most Tommy way possible. Because may sumikat si Tommy because of his there's this scene nung matatalo na si LaRusso, parang sumisigaw siya, yeah, put him in a body bag, yan, get him in a body bag, yeah, ayan siya, saya-saya niya ayan, naging meme yan up to a point na inadapt ng series yan sa season 2. So ayun, panoorin nyo na lang sa mga hindi pa nakakapanood ng Cobra Kai, yung mga cameos nila nung Cobra Kai boys. And ang galing na yung kanya-kanya nilang characters is sobrang nagtugma din sa Cobra Kai series. Kasi like for example, si Bobby the second to the left, na siya, kasi siya yung napansin mo, siya yung pinaka parang umaawat kay Johnny. Uy, Johnny, tama na yan. Uy, sumusobra ka na. Parang siya yung moral compass ng apat na lalaki.
Yes.
Pansin mo. Yung scene na yeah, sorry, go.
Sige. Ikaw muna.
Dahil kasi 'di ba yung scene na nung Halloween, parang binubugbog nila si LaRusso, parang inaawat ni Bobby si Johnny. Uy, tama na yan, sobra na yan. Sabi lang ni Johnny, no, we should show no mercy, Cobra Kai, 'di ba?
It was just sad. Pero he also did that in the tournament. At some point.
Yung tournament, 'di ba, nautusan siya ni Kreese na parang para maging sacrificial lamb. So nagpa-disqualify siya even though ayaw niya. So
Yes,
anong kick 'yon? Do you remember that kick?
Actually, that was his week.
So bawal talaga yun, no? Parang sakit kasi parang bali talaga yung tuhod mo nun eh.
Actually, for that kasi gumamit din siya ng elbow nun.
Oo.
So,
no, I mean
really,
si Bobby. Yung ginawa ni Bobby, 'di ba, yung na-disqualify siya?
That's a way of sweeping the leg.
Ang sakit really, sobra.
It hit the thigh kasi. When you hit the thighs, that's where your damage is kasi it's connected to your knee. So,
ang sakit nun. So, ang sakit nun, parang naramdaman ko yun eh. Uy, hi from Diana Joy, batch 4 ng CVAP. Kamusta?
Hi, Miss Diana.
What's up? Good evening. And uy, tropa natin to, si Earl Santos. Ayun, si Jimmy. Si Jimmy daw yung nasa pinaka-left. Tama, okay. Thank you. So, siya yung tinalo sa tournament ni LaRusso. Okay, alright. Okay, that makes sense. I think siya yata yung unang tinalong Cobra Kai ni LaRusso. Before Tommy at saka before Bobby. Well, yung kay Bobby disqualified. So, I think, tama. Jimmy. Alright. So, yun yung... And ito, I'm gonna flash another picture. Since napag-usapan natin yung crane kick. Yan, that's the iconic crane kick.
Although it's
Pero totoo ba yan? Is it a real move?
Actually, there is one other kick in White Crane that uses that.
Okay.
It's kasi yung technique ni Mr. Miyagi from the older versions kasi in Chinese Kung Fu, there's such thing as White Crane. So White Crane Kung Fu kasi is very precise and it's more of balance. So you would also see this in an MMA fight, pero hindi lang halata. Kasi that's a tricky move to use.
Oo nga, parang nakaganong ka lang, parang mag-aabang ka when the opponent will strike, tsaka mo di ba? It seems like a very powerful move, pero little chance yung succeeding, yung success. Tama ba?
Yes, that's true. Kasi in order for you to pull this off, you have to hide it.
Oo.
So, you have to learn a few other tricks kasi this is a good combination kasi if you're using either a spinning kick or if you're going to use a front kick or faking it. Fake kick kasi yung frame kick mismo.
Fake kick.
Yes, it's a fake kick. Kasi it's one way to deceive your opponent. Kasi you don't know where he's coming from.
Oo. So he can pull one move or another move with that stance, di ba? Yung stance
you can
ni
actually
LaRusso.
do at least 3 to 4 moves using that stance alone.
Kaya nung Karate Kid 2, 'di ba? He tried it kay Chosen. Nagkamali, hindi siya tumalab.
Yes. Kasi there's only one way to avoid that. It's what we call sidestepping. So when you sidestep kasi, you move away from the trajectory. Kasi meron
kasi diretso yan eh.
It's in the line of fire kasi. Usually in martial arts kasi we have what we call the center line. So what you do is that you have to intercept the center line to reach your target. So in order for you not to be in the line of fire, you dodge it. Kaya pansin mo, si Sozen, ang ginawa niya, sinalo niya.
Oo.
Kaya yun.
And in fairness, nasalo niya. Si Johnny Lawrence, he went straight. Talagang, siguro kasi si Johnny Lawrence kasi may halong parang may halong gigil na rin. So, hindi na siya nag-iisip ng tactic, Cobra Kai, di ba? Diretsong sugod.
That's also
kaya siya
true.
nahuli.
And so, yung pansin mo rin kasi dito sa stance niya, medyo open rin siya. Kasi even if you have a block like that, tamaan mo lang yung heel ng opponent mo. Tamaan mo yung knee ng opponent mo and yung shin ng opponent mo, tapos siya. From there.
Tama. So ngayon, next character naman, of course, dahil nandito na rin tayo, of course, ang pinakabida ng Karate Kid. The one and only Daniel LaRusso.
Oh, yes.
Pero, di ba, Josh, yung pagitan nung, kunyari, di ba yung pagitan nung championship nila and nung event na nagkakahamunan sila ng tournament, ilang months lang yun? 2 months lang daw yun
Around 2 months. Around 2-3 months.
So, imagine, Daniel LaRusso only had 2 months to train for the All Valley Championship.
And na-develop niya yung muscle memory agad.
Oo nga eh. So, tatanong ko sana sa'yo, possible ba yun? Possible ba just within 2 months na kaya mo nang maka-reach ng ganong level?
Actually, it takes more than.
Diba?
It usually
Kahit
para sa akin
araw-arawin mo.
Kahit araw-arawin mo siya. Yung problema kasi is pressure testing eh. Kasi yung mahirap rin kasi dyan, you can always use kata. You can always use the other forms and techniques. Pero yung problema mo kasi yung pressure test, kaya makilabang ka talaga. Kasi shadow boxing is not enough. Kasi especially for
Saka
boxing,
hindi siya wala siyang actual competition eh. Wala siyang drills, 'di ba? Kung tinatawag doon.
Kaya kailangan pa rin yung Mr. Miyagi.
Oo, hindi siya nagdi-drills with Mr. Miyagi masyado eh.
Actually, yung maganda kasi kay Mr. Miyagi, na-integrate niya yung muscle memory niya agad. Kasi when you keep on repeating a certain movement, nagiging natural siya sa'yo. And taken from my experience rin. Kasi it took me time. Ako, when I started training, I was like 7. So, una ituturuan sa'yo yung basics of muscle movement. And at the same time, tuturuan nila yung proper form. Kasi one thing na nag-develop sa fighter is usually yung mismong structure niya, foundation. That's the reason why you have to learn foundation form 1, 2.
Yung doon pumapasok yung wax on, wax off, yung So it's based kaya nga muscle and how long yung ganong klaseng muscle memory ma-develop?
It usually takes you around 6 months to 1 year.
Talaga? Matagal. So yung sa movie kasi parang ilang araw lang siya nagwa-wax on, nagwa-wax off para nakuha niya kagad no?
Actually, yung sa kanya kasi yung more of training reflex.
So yung reflex, logical, pwede yun ng ilang araw lang. Na kahit sabi mo kunyari, wax on, wax off ka ng 6 na oras.
Usually, ibig mga 1 to 2 weeks.
Ang tagal din.
Kasi kailangan mo eye and hand coordination yan.
Oo. Ito, may sinabi si Earl. I think ito yung tungkol sa crane kick. Ginawa yan para sa babae dahil less strength gamit sa movement. I'm not sure if it's the crane kick. Totoo ba yan?
Actually, yes. Kasi there are certain martial arts in Chinese that were integrated in Japanese as well. Pero I'm not gonna lie, there is one style there na was created by a girl. So, it's integrated from there.
Talaga? Oh, interesting. So ngayon, sino ba ang Josh, who is the real Karate Kid para sa iyo? Yan ang magandang tanong.
Para sa akin kasi it's a matter of perspective.
'Di ba?
Kasi
so,
you can
become... para sa inyo, sino ang tunay na Karate Kid? Johnny Lawrence or Daniel LaRusso?
Sa akin, it can be both.
Parang may parang depende rin sa, tama ka, depends on your perspective kasi they're differing, yung techniques nila differing from each other pero to be honest, ang maganda sa Cobra Kai, it's so much more relevant siya ngayon, lalo na with yung sobrang social justice culture na nangyayari sa atin sa social media and all that stuff. Kaya nga, yung Cobra Kai, ang dami niyang reference tungkol sa mga ganyan, sa mga SJW na parang, etong si Johnny Lawrence na stuck in the 80s, tapos makakarinig siya ng mga gender neutral na ganito, na ganyan, na what the hell? Sabi nga niya back then, when we used to bully people, we did it right into their faces. Now they just do it behind the keyboard. That's what a pussy move, sabi nga niya, di ba? So in a way, may honor pa din. And
kasi
sabi
before,
niya si Jaden Smith.
Si Jaden Smith. Pero in fairness naman, Kung Fu is the source of karate. It's the ancestor.
Tama. Oo, actually.
It's a fact.
Oo. And sa Miyagi-Do naman, yun na pag-usapan natin, defensive stance, defensive style siya, no? Tsaka more on talagang stoic, yung hindi ka papalag, you don't make the first move, but when someone moves, kung may papalag sa'yo, that's when you strike hard.
And in Miyagi-Do kasi, that's what we call the horse stance. So horse stances are usually power techniques. You draw power from the stance itself. And at the same time, you also draw power from your own gravity. And you use your opponent's gravity against him.
Kaya mas masakit. Kasi pag parang sa boxing din when you counter punch someone in boxing, lalo na when they put the incredible force, nandun lahat ng ng energy niya, di ba? Ng force niya nandun. So, every other body part is exposed. Pag ikaw na counter punch, masakit. Is that logical? Okay.
It's logical, and at the same time, what makes it different from boxing is that the torque used to use some of the punches are different. Kasi may tinatawag kaming screw punch. So usually yung 'di ba nakikita niyo pag ganun yung punch na yun, 'di ba? So usually yun yung mga foundations niya. Pero iba rin yung generation of force niya, depending on what style of karate you're talking about.
Eto raw, more on Aikido.
Yeah,
I think
Aikido Miyagi-Do is more of a combination of three things. You have a bit of Shotokan, you have a bit of Goju-Ryu. Pero mostly Goju-Ryu siya. And a bit of Aikido. Aikido kasi means the way of harmony. So it uses it actually is the most considerate martial art of all martial arts.
Most considerate martial art.
Yes, because in Aikido, you become more pleasant to your opponent. Kaya siya way of harmony. Kasi usually the ones who practice Aikido as well don't really break the person. They're being more considerate in person.
I see. Sige, ngayon. So, ngayon, usapang love life naman tayo. Sana all. Usapang
Okay lang
love
yan
life
sa akin.
naman tayo ni LaRusso. Kasi, syempre, di ba, three different love lives yung nagkaroon siya all throughout the series. So, who's the best partner ba for Daniel LaRusso? Para sa tingin. And, of course, may mga kanya-kanya tayong opinion. But, of course, ang pinakasikat is, of course, si Ali Mills. Ali with an I, di ba? Si
Yes.
Elizabeth Shue. So, Ali Mills. Which is in the first Karate Kid movie. Ayan. Na naging, of course, ex-girlfriend ni Johnny Lawrence. Grabe, no? Ang bata pa nila dito, pero it's been like 36 years ago. Di ba?
Yeah, and she still looks the same.
Oo. Pati si Daniel LaRusso, parang hindi sila tumanda. Grabe. Ang galing. Ayan. So,
And
what
I
do you
really
say
like
about...
yung chemistry.
Oo, yun, exactly. So, yun, maganda yung chemistry nila, di ba? Pero ang pangit lang, ang weird. Kasi itong napansin ko, lalo na sa part 2, parang hindi man lang siya, I don't know what happened. Hindi man lang siya nagpakita. She wasn't even on the film. Ang naging linya na lang ni Daniel na parang may nakita siyang parang na in love daw siya sa college football player nung prom nila. Tapos iniwan na lang siya. Parang wow. Yun na yun.
I think siguro dahil sa conflict of schedule din eh.
Oh,
So when they were making
pagsikat.
And she was starting off pa lang nun.
Exactly.
So for me, she'll always be the best match. Kasi she got to balance Daniel LaRusso in the sense that she made him very supportive. And at the same time, she changed him in a lot of ways.
Exactly. Na parang medyo lumakas din dahil nga para kay Ali, lumakas yung loob ni Daniel na mag-make move, na mag-karate, 'di ba? Tsaka na pumalag kay Johnny Lawrence kasi 'di ba nung first parts ng movie, parang jabroni lang ni Johnny Lawrence si LaRusso, lagi siyang inuupahan, lagi siyang ginagang up, 'di ba? Ayan. So, ito, may sinabi si Pops Earl, Kumiko daw. Actually, yun. Magandang
si Kumiko, yung susunod natin.
Yes, of course. Ang susunod natin, of course, ito ako din. I can agree. Kumiko. Itong parang tinatawag natin na the one who got away ba? Si Kumiko. Hanapin ko lang. Ayan. Ayan ang picture
ito. We don't know if she got married to Chosen.
Ayun na nga. Yun ang gusto ko alamin. With the mamaya, sa trailer, grabe. So, pero grabe, look at this Kumiko. Like, ang weird. There's something in her na sobrang charming niya.
Yeah, it's her innocent eyes.
Oo, tsaka yung smile niya, parang napaka-genuine ang smile niya.
I really like that on how she made peace with Chosen and Daniel. And how she became kind of like an arbiter in the struggles that Daniel had in Japan.
Oo, napakabait, napakamahinahon. And yun nga, si Chosen, I don't know what happened to them after the second part, pero grabe, ang ganda nung chemistry nila din Daniel. Pero unfortunately, she remained in Japan kasi ang dream niya, di ba, maging dance instructor?
Yes, she was supposed to be not just a dance instructor, but she's also supposed to be a ballerina as well.
Ayun, oo.
Dancer.
So, ang plano niya essentially, magsasama sana siya kay Daniel papuntang US para mag-aral. Since tumino na si Sato, na, di ba, nag-turn a new leaf siya nung bandang huli. So, binalik niya yung parang dance nila dun.
Yeah, natatawa rin ako kay Sato.
Oo nga, ang kulit no? Parang, well, it could have been executed better, di ba? Yung scenes na yun. But it was the 80s, di natin alam.
And we need a backstory. There's a
Oo.
cliffhanger in Mr. Miyagi's time. Actually,
Diba?
if there are people in Cobra Kai who are listening,
Marami
I hope
yan,
you
oo.
guys
I hope you
create
guys
one movie about Keisuke Miyagi alone.
like a spin-off movie of Mr. Miyagi.
Yes.
Good
The
idea,
origin
good
of
idea.
Miyagi. I would love to see that.
Oh, nako. Tapos sila ang mag-produce at mag-direct, the creators of Cobra Kai, because they play it so amazingly. Diba? And ito yung this is the third one na I think na pinaka nakakalimutan ng tao, unfortunately. And I just found out of her as well nung napinanood ko yung Karate Kid 3 because she didn't have much of a role unfortunately. Parang sayang.
Butas lang siya.
Oo, parang ano lang siya. Ito her name is Jessica Andrews. Si Jessica Andrews. So, not much is known about her other than siya yung kasi sa Karate Kid 3, nagnegosyo na si Mr. Miyagi ng bonsai tree. So, itong si Jessica Andrews, siya yung tawag dyan? Potter?
Yeah, Potter.
Oo, so ang magiging negosyo nila, siya yung kagagawa ng mga pots ni Mr. Miyagi na kapitbahay. Pero bigla siyang umalis. Bigla siyang lumipat ng state. California, I'm not sure where. Either New Jersey or New York. So, yan. So, Jessica Andrews, halfway through the movie, nawala na lang siya. So, very anticlimactic. Siguro, parang, ang iniisip siguro ng mga producer is para maiba naman.
That's true.
Pero, would it have been better kung yung the third movie, yung pangatlong girlfriend niya would have been his wife?
Actually, dapat nga pwede yun.
Diba? Kesa yung ganyang na totga na wala lang.
Kasi, they have schedule constraints
Ito, lalabas siya sa si Kumiko, yes. Kala ko si Jessica. Oo, ito, papakita ko mamaya yung images. Yes! Sila ni Chosen. Di ba? Pero itong si Jessica Andrews, sayang. Like, her role could have been much more bigger to the point na sana siya yung naging would-be wife ni Daniel. Although gusto ko yung wife ni Daniel ngayon, siya yung nasa Big Bang Theory Doon ko siya naalala Diba? Pero maganda siya. Pero ito, grabe. Like, I don't know. She should have been utilized better, I think. Kaya siya yung ang pinakaaway talaga dito was between Kumiko tsaka Ali Mills. Ikaw ba, sa tingin mo?
For me, I would still pick on Ali Mills.
Ali pa rin? Okay. Sabagay. Siya yung may pinaka-impact
Kasi si Kumiko kasi parang vacation lang ni Daniel away. And it was just a short period of time.
Fling, tawag doon, fling.
Fling lang talaga.
Yeah, sayang. So, the verdict has been chosen, Ali Mills. So, ang pinili ni Earl, si Kumiko. Ako, medyo torn ako between Ali and Kumiko, but I have to choose Ali kasi nga, parang, yung impact pa rin ni Ali, dala-dala hanggang ngayon sa Cobra Kai. But then, we will see Kumiko. So, sabi nga ni, lalabas siya sa season 3. I'm excited to see anong magiging role nila ni Chosen. Diba? Ito.
The origins of Miyagi-Do.
Binasag kasi ni LaRusso ang ilong ng BF.
BF ni Jessica.
Hindi niya BF yun I think it was para siyang naalala ko yung lang siya binayaran siya ni Terry Silver para manggulo. Kasi parang tinuturo ni Terry Silver na yung technique na parang yung prinsipyo ng Cobra Kai na strike hard na makakabasag ka na ng ilong ng tao. So, yun ang tinuturo ni Terry Silver kay Daniel nun. So, yun yung ginawa niya dun sa bar, sa lalaki sa bar. And, malaki age gap nila. Josh, are you there?
Yeah. Sorry, may message lang ako kasi.
Oh, sorry. It's okay.
Yeah.
Malaki daw age gap nila. I didn't know that. Sila ni Jessica.
Yeah,
she looks kinda young. Pero in real life, lang siya 9 years ang age gap nila ni Daniel LaRusso in real life. 1972 si Jessica, 1963 surprisingly si Daniel LaRusso, si Ralph Macchio. So ang 9 years ang age gap nila.
Yes.
So ngayon, let's just talk about some of the main villains naman. So let's move sa Karate Kid 2.
Ito na yung villains.
Yes. Diba? So we have 4 villains na we would like to tackle. And una sa lahat, si
Sato.
Diba? So, ano masasabi mo kay Sato? Ang angas niya, no? Para siyang, para siyang Yakuza. Ang ganda niya manamit.
And to think na, he owned the corporation for that area.
Oo, parang pagmamayari niya yung island na yun, di ba? Kung saan sila nakatira. Sa Okinawa.
Yes. And he's one of the iconic Miyagi-Do masters din.
Oo, sila ni Mr. Miyagi kasi tinraining sila ng father ni Mr. Miyagi eh.
Kaya only difference nga lang nila na commercialize niya.
O parang industrialized.
Kasi he kind of reminds me of another karateka. Mas Oyama ang pangalan niya. He's the founder of Kyokushin Karate. He's also labeled as the undefeated karateka.
Oh, okay. Nice.
Yeah.
Pero ito sa tingin mo kung if they really kung talaga sila ni Mr. Miyagi, 'di ba they were supposed to fight to the death? Who would have won? Sa tingin mo?
Miyagi.
Kasi parang yung ni Sato Cobra Kai na eh, yung niya, style niya.
Actually, yung problema mo kasi he's too impulsive and angry.
Oo, yun din.
It's a very big factor.
Emotion. Oo, ka-counter-attack lang ng ka-counter-attack ni Mr. Miyagi yan.
Tsaka yung problema rin kasi kay Sato kasi when I was also observing on how he did yung sa log. Makikita mo din. Di ba may log na nahanap sila sa beach? Kasama si Miyagi dati.
Oh, yan.
In the scene.
I-chop. Oo.
Yeah. The problem with him is that what made him different from Miyagi is that he tried to force the log. Si Miyagi hindi. He had to wait a bit before he could strike at the right angle.
Kaya pala nung sinong mamamatay na dapat si Sato, pagka ganun niya ng lag, nabali ka agad.
Kasi he waited.
May pinipili siyang part? What do you mean by angle?
Actually kasi, the trick with breaking anything from boards to cement to bricks, is an angle. Because people think na you have to have really strong strength.
Oo nga
It's not. Ito yung misconception na sinasabi ko rin lagi. Kasi usually, if you're going to break things, you have to do it at a certain angle.
So, it's all about... Ito, another example of that. Ito. This scene. Yan.
Magandang example to.
Diba?
Kasi with the ice kasi, here's paano nabali ni Daniel yung yellow mismo? May secret yan.
Oo. How do you strike it? Where? Paano?
Actually, here's the thing. Why do you think na he breathes? Breathing kasi is important. That is the most basic essence of martial arts. If you don't breathe
in
well,
life, I guess.
Even in life.
Diba?
If you don't breathe well, your technique can't follow through. So,
how do you breathe? Like, anong proper breathing na deep breathing?
Actually, mali, para sa akin, medyo mali yung part na to. kasi
diba, breathe your nose out with your mouth, diba?
Yes, totoo yun. Pero there's also a certain level of breathing din na dapat malaman mo rin.
Yeah.
Kasi yung certain level of breathing kasi comes with what we call kiai. Kasi pansin mo, when you go to karate demos or what other martial arts demos are, you see people shouting, diba? Yes. So that is also the essence. Kasi the reason why you shout is because that's not just your battle cry, but it also doubles the force that you can generate.
Talaga. So yung the louder you scream, the double the force. Ganun pala yun. Kaya pala si Goku.
It's a combination of three things. Biomechanics, the angles you use, and the breathing you have. Kasi without breath, you can't generate enough force. So, doon namin nakukuha yung power na yun.
So, pero ito, may isa talaga, no?
Physics. Kasi may isa pang strategy din dito eh. pansin mo, they let the ice melt.
Oo, tama.
Kasi when ice
Ayan.
melts, it's easier for you to break this.
Talaga? Why? What is the chemistry or physics behind it? What do you
Actually, for this one kasi, you have to turn it into at least a 90-degree angle or at least a 50-degree angle for you to strike it with a chop like this. Pero, may tinatawag din tayong palm strike. Ito, which is this one. This
So
does
you
more
strike
damage.
it sa palm?
Yes.
Dito. Imbis na dito sa gilid, dito. So pag ganon.
Mas malaki yung force na na-generate mo
Oo.
using that.
So yung chop mo pag ganyan. Pag ganyan. Hindi pag ganon. Pag ganyan.
Pag ganun. Pero yung iba kasi, ang ginagawa rin nila, pwede mo rin diretso yun. Knife hand na siya. Pwede mo rin.
Parang
pwede rin
sampal. Hindi pala siya chop, sampal.
Hindi. Yung
More or
angle mo
less.
kasi dito eh.
Oo.
So, usually pag natamaan mo na siya, dapat diretso yun. Kasi it's like what we call in Wing Chun, Tan Sao. So, when you do that, dapat straight siya. So, you have to also have an angle where your wrist won't break. Kasi meron kami tinatawag sa martial arts din na you're not supposed to break your wrist kasi you have to learn how to punch. And that, to the point na you're not supposed to break your wrist. Kasi ang nagiging problem kasi ng mga tao kasi when you punch, napapaganito sila. Yung
Oo nga eh. May recoil. Kailangan wala. Talagang all out.
Diretso. As in, when you punch like this. Pag ganyan siya.
Yes.
Kasi yung problema, you can't generate enough force pag napaganon mo. Magbabalian ka pa ng force nun.
Yun na nga eh.
Same thing with this one. Chops kasi usually are only used pag as light touch. Pero they become more deadly with the palm strike, along with the palm strike.
See? And sabi nga, patience is key, di ba?
That's true. In a fight, you have to be patient. You don't move forward agad. Kasi yung problema kasi, if you move forward, your opponents will take advantage of you.
Oo. Kasi pag hindi ka impatient, impulsive ka eh. Strike lang ng strike. And the more you strike, nawawalan ka ng energy. Diba?
That's true. Yung magandang example ko yung kay Mayweather dati.
Exactly.
He's a
diba?
very good
best counter puncher in the industry, in the boxing industry. Professional boxing. Kaya ako kahit ayoko kay Mayweather, I respect his style dahil hindi siya na-injured, hindi siya para sa akin, he's the safest boxer ever.
And yung gusto ko kasi sa kanya kasi hindi mo ba napapansin, basic rin yung kata na ginagamit niya. Kasi
yung stance?
Yung stance niya, yung boxing stance
Ganun
niya.
siya, di ba? So, all pure defense kaya hindi mo siya matalo eh, si Mayweather. Kahit si Pacquiao. Pero
in karate, we call it cat stance.
Stance. So, si Pacquiao more on Cobra Kai ang style niya, aggressive, di ba?
Actually, may halong jeet kun to si Manny Pacquiao. Kasi pati yung physique niya, parang si Bruce Lee, di ba?
Oo, batak. So,
yung reason bakit ganon, kasi yung training niya is similar to Jeet Kune Do.
Oh, grabe.
And samahan mo pa ng Kali.
So, si Miyagi parang Mayweather. Na mayabang. Yun lang. Mayabang na Mayweather. Okay.
Pero yung gusto ko kasi kay Miyagi kasi, yung clarity niya. Kasi yung pag nakikita mo kasi kay Miyagi kasi, before na nangyari yung fight, tapos na yung fight. He always wins it in the mind.
Talaga?
That's the secret of his technique.
I see.
Anticipation.
Sa bagay, parang strike. You strike when the iron is hot. Yung ika nga nila, di ba? Ngayon, si Chosen naman tayo. Ano masasabi mo kay Chosen? The number one student naman is Sato. Yun, no?
Si Sato naman kasi compared kay Chosen, Chosen's more deadlier.
mas aggressive, no? Kasi bata pa. So, yung wala siyang he's sato na mas wala yung dishonorable.
Actually, siya yung kabaliktaran ng principles ng Miyagi-Do.
Oo.
Kasi siya naman, Miyagi-Do pa rin yan, pero may dito pupunta yung aggressive form ng Miyagi-Do. Kaya yun yung napapansin ko dun sa movement, sa science, sa tactics niya, and all. So yeah. And with Chosen kasi, we still need a little bit more of background with this guy.
Oo nga, parang henchman lang ang dating niya
Yun yung problema ko sa kanya. Kasi with Chosen kasi, we don't know much about his origins of how he became Sato's student. And we also don't know what other karate styles he's incorporated. Kasi basically, when I saw how he fights, may halo dun na hindi na Miyagi-Do.
Talaga? Okay. May ibang na.
Mga certain stances. Even nga yung on-guard stance ng Jeet Kune doon, kita ko rin dyan. When you observe yung laban nila ni Daniel dun sa Bonbon Festival, yun yung makikita mo yung full version ng karate niya.
So hybrid si Chosen. So nga, malay natin sa Cobra Kai Season 3, no? Ma-explain nila na maayos kung ano bang nangyari, di ba? Ayan, sabi ito, counter fighter din si Chosen.
Actually, yun yung what makes him more deadly kasi magaling siya sa counter din.
Oo. Ito tanong kita, Johnny Lawrence versus Chosen, who would win?
Depends on aggressiveness.
Kung kunyari, All Valley tournament, sumali si Chosen. Sino man nanalo?
If it's tournament, it probably would be, Johnny. Pero when it comes to practical, si Chosen.
So, bagay.
Kasi pag nakita mo yung practical skills ni Chosen kasi, makikita mo pa lang sa kata niya. Kasi besides the fact na na-master din yung horse stance ng Matino, may on-guard stance pa siya.
Oo.
And yung movement niya, kaya niya mag-anticipate.
Ayun lang.
Yan yung parang ultra instinct ni Goku.
Yun lang. So, mas lamang nga si Chosen.
Lamang siya sa training din.
Sa real life Chosen. Tournament.
Real life.
Kasi kunyari, like when you're doing, tawag dito, in any other discipline, ang nalaman ko, iba ang teachings when you're competing at saka in real life.
Which is true. Very,
Sa jiu-jitsu, ganun daw yan Kasi yung magagamit mo sa competition may not be applicable in real life.
Actually, ang masasabi ko kasi may competition kasi, meron kang rules kasi. Pero when you're out in the streets kasi, iba rin.
Walang rules.
Take it from my experience then. Kasi, iba yung rules sa streets. Especially, when it comes to knife or any other, deadly weapons out there. Iba yung scenario mo. Lahat ng mga natutunan mo in the tournament, you have to throw it out the window.
Kailangan, and I think para sa akin, kaya nga ako nag-aaral dati ng martial arts before mag-pandemic. Sabi ko, real life ako. More on real life. Parang, siguro kung magto-tournament ako once a year, para lang masabi ko may experience, but, syempre, saan mo ba gagamitin yun? Real life, di ba? To protect.
And to survive. Pero one dark thing about martial arts kasi, it's a tool. Still there.
Hi!
Still there?
Sorry na wala ako.
It's okay. No problem.
Dinig niyo ba ako?
Yes. Loud and clear, brother.
Yan. Very good. Alright. Can you hear the music loud and clear?
Yes, loud and clear.
Alright. Sorry. And we're back. Kasi, yan. Good evening kay Mitzi. Magandang gabi. Thank you for reminding me. Ito, sabi nga ni Earl, na-counter niya yung crane kick. So, oo, tama nga naman. Tsaka, ito, Hindi mo, bawal. Maraming bawal sa tournament.
Mm. Yeah.
Dito bawal. Diba?
Actually, may certain tournaments kasi na pwede ka mag-head. Kasi usually kasi in tournaments, tama rin yung isang part sa Karate Kid. Kasi based ako from my own experience with the tournament, usually if you are practicing Taekwondo or Karate-Do, usually there are 2 points to the body. 1 point to the body. Then you have 2 points to the head. So usually pag natamaan ko sa head, it's a big point.
Oo, sakit na.
And hindi lang yun, yung problema rin kasi, yun yung mga people na people can also get to the emergency rooms right away if you're not careful. Kaya
concussion yan, bro.
At saka tulog ka nun. Actually, nakakita ko ng ganito with one tournament before na sinalihan na rin namin. Talagang clean kick siya. Usually, you have to watch out for the sneaky kicks eh. Kasi in the tournaments, you're not supposed to kick high. You have to kick low. Yun yung turo sa kanila. Pero ito rin yung problema kasi even in practical combat, yun din yung sinasabi namin, never ever use flashy moves. If you use flashy moves, you're gonna end up in a body bag sooner than you think.
Tama. Kasi sa sobrang dami mong moves, pag na-exhaust ka, kunyari, ang dami mong ginawang mga bam bam bam, yung mga parang sumasayaw ka na. Once na nakita na nag-worn down ka na ng konti, tsaka siya magka-counter-attack. Tulad nung ginawa yung sa Cobra Kai Season 1, napansin ko si Miguel, may kalaban siya parang nagkakapoere, no?
Yes.
Tapos, nung pagka-land niya, di ba parang
nag-flip siya.
Oo, nag-backflip siya. Pagka-land niya sa bigla siya nasuntok. Wala, tapos. Diba?
And dito rin papasok yung sinasabi ko sa'yo about center lines. Kasi center lines are really important. Doesn't matter which discipline it is. Kasi if you control the center line, you control your opponent. Kaya for me, when you especially if it's in tournament, acceptable yung mga ibang movement na yun. Pero when it comes to real fighting, you don't have to to end the person's life, but you have to learn to run away. Kasi may mga certain may mga certain parts din na in the streets kasi in the streets there are no rules eh. So yun yung best advice ko. When you're in that situation, learn to run away, especially from an armed opponent.
Totoo. Sabi nga nila, ang ika nga nila na it's kaya nga sabi ni Mr. Miyagi, it's for self-defense only. But at the same time, use it when absolutely necessary. Kasi hindi mo alam, may baril pala yan, may kutsilyo pala yan. So kung kaya mong tumakbo, takbo ka. Kasi yun din ang rule, yun din ang sabi sa amin sa jiu-jitsu, na use it when I was still studying it. Talagang only when absolutely necessary. Kasi pag yan nagtawag, di ba? Hindi mo rin alam. And ito yung example ko ng head kick. Kilala mo si Joe Rogan?
Yes, Joe Rogan.
Kasi sa Taekwondo champion din. So ito yung isa sa competition niya. Pag! Ayun no.
Spinning
May na yan may parang
may
protection na siya. Oo. Pero grabe, pang!
Tingnan mo rin yung paano yung torque ng foot niya eh. Kasi nilagay niya lahat ng power niya sa heel niya. And it comes from your hips.
Ang bilis. Alam mo yung shocks, kung walang helmet yan, baka concussed na yan.
Hindi lang yun. Pwede ka pang magsuka na nan. Kasi I've seen this before din in tournaments din eh. May mga iba na lang na nagsusuka rin afterwards eh. Kaya ang suggestion ko dyan, learn to practice avoiding. Then kasi ang dami kasing ginagawa, napapansin ko yun, especially to new ones, yung mga newbies, yung mga novice. Common mistake nila kasi sumusugod sila agad. Yung problema mo kasi sa pag sumusugod ka kasi agad, hindi mo rin alam kung gaano ka-experience yung opponent mo. So I leave it mga 30 seconds within the match, kasi usually in every match that's 1 minute. So you have to do everything in 1 minute. So ang suggestion ko, get to know your opponent first. Once you know your opponent's style, intercept. Yan yung
And
magandang advice ko dyan.
perfect example nito, and in a very sneaky way, in a very manipulative way, is Terry Silver.
Terry
Ito
Silver.
na. Our favorite.
Oh. Actually, of
Yan.
all the villains, he's my favorite.
Ako din, parang, yung performance niya is very underrated para sa akin. Pero ang weird, kasi mas bata siya kay Daniel LaRusso. He's like 2 years younger than him. Pero, para kasing, kasi baby face si Ralph Macchio. Kahit ngayon, kala mo, hindi magmumukhang 57 years old siya, no? Mukha siyang 45.
Or
So,
at least
baby face
20,
talaga.
mga nasa 30, masasabi ko.
Pero grabe to, like si Terry Silver, matangkad, yung style niya para siyang snake na talagang, siya yung, kumbaga yung ahas sa Cobra Kai, pag nabuhay, ito yung kakalabasan. Yun yung
Actually, ito kasi yung age kasi ng mga ponytail eh. Usually yung mga masters may ponytail.
Diba? Si Steven Seagal.
Steven Seagal
Diba?
era, yes.
Oh,
And then,
yan.
I'm not sure if you've ever watched this movie, pero I suggest you also watch it. If you're a fan of The Karate Kid, watch No Retreat, No Surrender.
No Retreat, No Surrender. Sinong starring doon?
Actually, it's a very old movie. Pero nandun yung stunt, yung
wait.
double ni
Si Van Damme?
Ay, hindi ito si Van Damme. Wait,
Ay,
I'll
okay.
just check.
Parang si Van Damme eh.
Si Van Damme din pala. Kasi siya yung Russian din eh.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oo nga, no?
Yeah.
Ito ba yung kalaban niya yung Koreano na malaking katawan? Hindi, iba
Ay,
yun.
hindi. That's Bloodsport.
Ba yun? Yun yung napanood ko dati, Bloodsport, ng bata ako. Yan. Pero, ito isa pa to, si Van Damme, no? Nakakatakot.
Actually, ang ayaw ko yung kay Van Damme, yung helicopter kick niya. Kasi if you also know one other guy, I'm not sure if you're familiar with Yuri Boyka from Undisputed.
Narinig ko na. Parang narinig ko na yun.
Si Scott Adkins yung pangalan niya. Si Scott Adkins kasi, he has this tricky move. Kasi yung helicopter kick ni Van Damme is also based from another movement. Pero yung kay Scott Adkins kasi, it's a very good fake. We call it the Guyver kick. If you watch the film Guyver dati, there's this kick na very concealed siya. Na ginagamit ng main hero si Guyver. So once na-execute mo siya, that's unblockable.
May papakita ako I'm not sure if it's the style of Terry Silver, pero ito.
Yes, sige.
Pak! Ano
That's
yan?
a very,
Practical yan? Parang ang
yes.
sakit tingnan eh.
Not really, actually very practical siya kasi yung ginagamit mo kasi dyan, yung this is a move also in Muay Thai that you would see. Kasi in Muay Thai, ito yung mga thigh kicks eh. Yung mga thigh kicks kasi, yan yung mga masasakit na i-execute. Kasi, ang ginagamit mo dyan, para masira mo yan, pansin mo, he goes with the shin eh. Kasi yung shin niya, malakas.
Oo.
And at the same time, you use your elbow, pansin mo. Then you also use your fist at the end to destroy that. And it's really practical kasi yung centrifugal force na nakukuha mo comes from the spine eh. His spine and hips. Pansin mo how he rotates his body. 45-degree angle. Then after that may 30-degree angle.
Si si Thomas Ian Griffith, in real life din siya, practitioner siya, 'di ba?
Kaya I don't wanna mess with a guy like that. Kasi for you to generate that that small amount of force is enough to break either the bone, the ligament, or even yung mismo inner organs mo. Kasi with that kind of of style, I can relate this to Krav Maga. Yun yung equivalent ng damage niya.
Oh shucks.
That's how
Ito yung mga epic na naririnig mong mga GIF. That sinister laugh. Diba? Si Terry Silver, parang kala mo ang bait. Kala po hindi mo siya kilala, diba? Na-infiltrate niya si Miyagi. Tapos, naturuan niya si Daniel ng mga Cobra Kai na moves. Sabing, diba ang pinaka-favor ni John Kreese, make his knuckles bleed.
Totoo.
Nagawa niya talaga.
And yung gusto ko kasi kay Terry kasi, iba yung aggressiveness niya. Aggressiveness niya comes from the actions, not the fists. Kasi yung problema kasi kay Kreese kasi, he doesn't know the psychological game. Kasi remember, in martial arts, it's always a game of three things. Psychology, that's one. Number two, it's also a game of physical strength. And at the same time, it's also a game of timing. Kasi in order for you to be an efficient fighter, you have to learn how to time. Kasi doon mo makikita rin yung reflex mo. And at the same time, dito mo rin makikita yung applications mo. Kaya nga may tinatawag si Bruce Lee na know what is useful, discard what is useless. So, yun yung lagi namin yun ang in-incorporate namin lagi when it comes to the dojo. And I can totally relate to this.
Okay. Makes sense. So ngayon, speaking of aggression, I guess this is the guy na who's the most aggressive. Sabihin natin times 10 yung aggressiveness niya kay And I think this is the last character. Oo, pinaka-last character na. Yes! The last character we're gonna discuss, the one and only Mike Barnes. Ano masasabi mo sa kanya?
Man, this guy is one person that you would want to put somewhere else. Kasi this guy is a combination of three things. He's a combination of a very manipulative person. He's also a person who's very aggressive, and a person who has a lot of hate in him. Pero yung hate niya, he's very clear when he still fights. Yun nakakatakot doon. Matakot ka sa fighter na yung clarity niya nandun pa rin even if his hate is still there. Kasi I don't really fear a person that's learned a lot of things. I fear more a person that has clarity in understanding his opponent even while angry.
Can you give another example na parang real life na Mike Barnes?
Real life.
Si Conor McGregor ba? Ayun, yes. Diba?
Conor McGregor is a very aggressive person, but one thing I liked about him is that he gets to finish the fight in less time. Kasi he's also known for that. And
grabe, oo.
Maganda yung psychological game niya when it comes to his opponents. When I've observed him in UFC, I was really amazed. Kasi the last time I've ever seen this kind of aura was with Don Wilson. I'm not sure if you remember him, but he's also one of the Don the Dragon Wilson. If you've seen him fight, it's kind of similar to what I see in McGregor. And the way Mike Barnes ever tries to manipulate LaRusso, he does it in a sense that he breaks everything. He breaks his spirit, he breaks his psychology, he also breaks his personality. Kasi he forces him
isa pang underrated na I guess kulang din siya sa backstory, no?
Kulang siya.
Kaya hindi siya naging Oo.
Kasi when I compare him to Terry Silver, mas ruthless siya. Si Terry, medyo may pagka-conscience
calculated
pa yan.
Oo.
Calculated
ito
kasi
wala
siya.
Talagang
ito, aggression
yan ang pero hindi siya Cobra Kai, no? Parang hired lang siya.
He was hired. He was just hired. And nung time na yun kasi, he was labeled the bad boy of karate.
Oo, yun yung parang branding niya nun na the bad boy of karate, di ba? Kaya siya nahanap ni Terry Silver.
And he's engaged into a lot of street fights and tournaments. So imagine a person who's mastered both and is really good in the streets. That is one person that you have to look out for.
Sobra. Na kung ilaban mo kay Johnny Lawrence yan, walang-wala si Johnny Lawrence, no?
Actually, hindi. Si Johnny may chance pa siya manalo.
Talaga?
Kasi si Johnny Lawrence kasi, although remember, he's also a champion, si Johnny. So, silang dalawa, magkakalaban lang sila when it comes to timing. Who will be faster by timing?
Who will strike first?
Kasi si Johnny kasi, he makes sure na his opponent stay down. Si Mike hindi. Kailangan niya ma-stay down ka in all three aspects. Yung spirit mo, yung mismong stance mo, wala ka na. And at the same time, he's also gonna break your personality. Kaya, yan yung mga parts na hindi pwedeng matumba si Johnny. Bakit? Kasi si Johnny he doesn't care much about his personality but he does care about others. That's what's his drive.
Exactly.
To win.
Tama. Ngayon, now that we're on that note, let us now finally break down in pictures the Cobra Kai Season 3. Season 3 trailer breakdown. So, I will flash a few pictures that really are most noteworthy. And analyze natin to what could be happening, what could have happened, and what might happen all throughout the season. So, itong pinakauna.
Okay.
First noteworthy scene, si Johnny Lawrence in a cage.
I see.
Siya ba yung nasa loob o siya ba yung may binibisita? Parang siya yung nasa loob, di ba?
Siya yung nasa loob.
Kasi yung nasa likod niya, yung background niya, parang mga, nakulong din.
Pero it's also possible din na nasa labas din siya Kasi yung girl na nakikita mo dun sa labas kasi, mukhang nasa bench lang siya Pero he's there because of Robbie. Remember, Robbie was the one who conducted the fight. So everybody's looking for Robbie.
Oo, parang open season kay Robbie ngayon no?
Mm-hmm. And pansin mo rin, Robbie is also wearing the juvenile uniform.
Yes.
So, he's hiding.
Syempre, anak din ni Johnny Lawrence yan. At the end of the day, kahit anong mangyari, parang protektahan pa rin. Diba?
Mm-hmm.
And yun ang malungkot, no? In a way, this is a sad way na mag-reconcile sila.
Actually, may theory din ako It's possible din kasi na once na mag-recover si Miguel might be the protagonist to go to Miyagi-Do naman. Then si Robbie becomes part of Cobra Kai
na under kay Kreese. Tapos ang
It's,
feeling ko nga ang mangyayari diyan, Miyagi-Do will be dalawang teacher yan. And
it's
what
possible.
And another thing, since kung dalawang teacher sa Miyagi-Do, we could have two teachers in Cobra Kai. So pwedeng si Terry Silver, pwedeng si Mike Barnes, di ba? So that could happen in season 4 and crossing your fingers, di ba?
I am crossing my fingers.
Yes,
kasi
diba?
Marami pa tayong papag-usapan with season 3 and 4 kasi
Oo,
we also have to
theory.
see ang daming theory talaga especially with Miyagi-Do. Kasi
Sobra.
with Miyagi-Do, compared to Cobra Kai, si Cobra Kai kasi is more of a military graded martial art style.
Tama.
Compared to Miyagi-Do kasi also has its dark roots like any other martial art. Kasi nagkaroon din ng mga purges yan before Actually, in other cultures din kasi, like pinakamagandang example ko, Brazil. Didn't you know in Brazil, they forbade people from doing martial arts then?
Talaga?
Yeah, they did.
But when? Hanggang ngayon?
Hindi, dati. Siguro mga sa Industrial Revolution, yung mga ganun. Kasi yung problema kasi ayaw nila mag-retaliate yung tao. So, they developed a style called capoeira to hide. Kaya yun yung origins ng capoeira.
Kaya pala sayaw. So para siyang it's like what happens in most countries when you take away the right to bear arms. Parang ganun ang nangyayari. Because they
train
can't fight
in secret. Same dito sa Pilipinas. Sa Pilipinas, we had Kali. Kasi ang Kali, tinuturo yan from master to master. So, yung master to student siya. May mga iba kasi na master to master, master to student.
Yes.
So, yun yung mga nakikita mo during Spanish Revolution din. Kasi, maraming mga instances dito sa Pilipinas na yung martial art natin. Actually ako, I'm a very avid supporter of Filipino martial arts. Kasi, dyan din ako nagaling
Diba?
And, it's really nice to see that people are starting to get back into our heritage. Kasi that's part of our culture. And
Sabi
we're
nga ni Earl,
undefeated.
Ip Man pa rin. Kaso sabi ni Earl, Ip Man pa rin. Siyempre, OG yan eh.
Oo naman. Actually, si Itman naman kasi, later lang nagkaroon ng, actually, this is the rebirth of Wing Chun. Kasi back in the day, kasi you guys weren't open to learn Wing Chun before. Pero in the time where Jeet Kune Do was introduced, that's the time also that Wing Chun was also being introduced to the world. Kasi it took Bruce Lee to popularize it. He also placed it in another style called Jun Fan. So that's another kind of style that Bruce Lee uses as well. Kaya nagkaroon ng Jun Fan Kung Fu Institute.
Sabi ni Earl, baka student nga yun nakulong. Yeah, could be.
It's true.
Yeah, could be. Baka si Robbie, baka si Hawk. Pwedeng si Hawk.
Actually, si Hawk, isa pa yan.
Most likely si Robbie. Diba? Kasi si Robbie yung siya yung gumawa nung Siya yung gumawa nun Diba? Siya yung nakabali kay Miguel. And hello, Jerry V! How are you?
Hi, Jerry!
Okay.
Welcome to our show.
Susunod na clip. Ito, medyo naging meme din to
I hate that guy.
Si Kyler. Tapos si Hawk. Kasi sabi mo kanina si Hawk naman, Now, this could be Kyler joining Cobra Kai.
It's possible. Actually, si Kyler kasi medyo alanganin din ako with this guy kasi
diba?
From the beginning pa lang kasi he was like Johnny Lawrence from back in the day.
Oo.
Pero one thing that I also don't know about his backstory kasi he's also very manipulative compared to Johnny. Johnny's not a manipulative guy. He just takes it as it is. Kyler is a different story. Tinatamaan ka niya psychologically. Pansin mo what he did with LaRusso's daughter, diba? Tapos yung mga tao kasi na medyo mahirap basahin kasi you don't know what their move is. You don't know if it's psychological or physical. And to the point na it becomes abuse na. So magandang embodiment siya. Although I would love to see his butt kick.
Feeling ko nga may point dun. May kasi sa trailer and ay sayang hindi ko siya nakuha. Pero meron dun sa trailer na may sinasapak si may sinasapak si Hawk.
Yes, may nakita
so
rin ako.
So that could be him.
Pero Hawk can also turn into a very bad villain din As worse as
oo nga, feeling ko si Hawk yung pinaka parang Matt Barnes in the making. Kasi siya 'di ba nung season 1 parang yung sinabi niya na siya yung may tinatawag siya, may term siya, he was in the spectrum.
Okay.
So baka in terms of his ADHD, yun yata yung sinagot niya. So ibig sabihin nun parang yung personality niya went full 360. Sobrang extreme, kumbaga extreme left to extreme right siya ngayon. So he could end up na the main antagonist sa season 4 and even season 3, 'di ba?
Especially now he's with Kreese. That's another thing.
Ayun pa si Kreese, 'di ba?
Influence ni Kreese, medyo delikado.
Si John Kreese yan exactly. So yun ang mahirap iwasan, yung influence ni John Kreese na ganun din si John Kreese manipulative. May yung lalo na sa season 2, manipulative siya in a sense na feeling ko planado niya na i-take over talaga yung Cobra Kai in the first place.
Actually, he was expecting talaga na Johnny to return to Cobra Kai. Kasi he was also betting that Cobra Kai would return for him to gain profits during his long break. Remember, Terry Silver after during part 3 of Karate Kid gave him a break, diba? In Tahiti.
Oo.
So basically, his life was just roaming around until he could gain Cobra Kai back. Pero when his attempt kasi failed, he was already planning for its return. That's the cliffhanger in the last part. Kasi di ba natalo sila in the tournament, di ba? Along with Terry Silver, natalo sila with Mark Barnes.
May cliffhanger ba yun? Parang wala.
Actually, dun sa part na yun, hindi mo lang mababasa agad. Pero yun yung time na yun na na-disappoint sila. Na Mike Barnes. So, yun yung based din sa sa ibang theories na nakita ko rin. And it's really a good timing then to see that Cobra Kai returns kasi besides the fact na it also enlightens the new parts of karate. It's also a rebirth of karate actually. Kasi before in the 80s, karate was just also new. People don't know na karate isn't as ancient as you think. Kasi I have to debunk that part kasi karate was just a modernization. Kasi no time when it was being developed, its real roots came from kung fu, but very older versions of kung fu from animal styles. Kaya makapapansin mo, White Crane is the most common one in Okinawa because the one who trained the people in Okinawa are from White Crane. So yun yung yun yung mga
next picture.
Yan, si Robbie, is pa yan. Nung worry ko dito, may rehab din to eh.
Could be, yeah. It could be. Pero I think it's mostly juvenile. So,
juvenile. Kasi ang dami rin niyang kalaban sa loob ng kulungan.
Tsaka din siya, aggressive din siya. I mean, before joining Miyagi-Do, may siya eh. Maangas na rin talaga, di ba? Siya, juvenile delinquent talaga siya.
And he loves stealing stuff for other people, di ba? Pero he grew a conscience every time. Yeah, that's what comparing him, I could compare him to Anakin Skywalker in Star Wars. Kasi Anakin was the type wherein he would still help people naman. He's not that cold-hearted as people think, diba? Matalino siya.
He knows, may kumbaga tawag doon street smarts. Kasi nga, since hinayaan siya ng mami niya, kasi mami niya palaboy, si Johnny Lawrence naman, wala. Virtually, wala naman. Lately lang lumabas. So, he had to learn on his own. Diba?
Yes, that's the truth. And that's the sad part din about Robbie. Pero, I also see a comeback din. Kasi, especially yung wife ni LaRusso, this part, diba sinampal niya si Kreese dyan?
Oo nga, I'm really curious ano yung napag-usapan nila and what would the scene break down into leading to that, no?
I'm also very curious kasi we don't know if Daniel trained her too kasi it's possible
Pwede.
It's possible na naging student din siya ni Daniel
could be at one point kahit na sabihin mong basic lang.
Kasi imposible hindi niya na-train yun kasi for her to have that kind of motion, it's impossible you didn't train.
Diba? So, let's get to the next one. Ito. More emotional one.
Ito, anong theory mo dito? Kasi I know Miguel is gonna come back, but the problem is, who's gonna heal Miguel? That's the question.
Of course, babalik talaga. Nakita naman sa trailer yan. And tama nga, sino yung doctor na nagpaano sa kanya, no? Na who healed him back to life, to conscience, to consciousness, di ba? So, kasi dito, makikita mo halfway through the trailer na tinutulungan na siya ni Johnny Lawrence maglakad, di ba?
Rehabilitation
Ang ganda nung line niya na don't expect anyone to lend you a hand.
Totoo.
Na in life, ganun talaga, totoo yun, na kailangan you have to crawl if you have to get to where you want to be. Diba?
Kasi you need to have chaos first before creation. Sometimes you need to be broken to learn your full potential.
And yun yung maganda dito sa scene na to. And grabe, dun mo makikita na may scene doon na may iyak ka talaga because doon mo makikita na yung pagkukulang ni Johnny Lawrence kay Robbie, doon niya nabawi kay Miguel. Sabi niya, no matter what happens, di ba? I'll always be there for you.
And yun ang gusto kong part sa kanya kasi he's not just a mentor. Actually, ako naranasan ko to with my previous masters din before. They were kind of like my second fathers then when they were training me, and it teaches you a lot of things kasi about life. Kasi I've met a lot of humbling people around who trained me all across the world. And it was really fun because I didn't even expect it. Eh. Bihira lang actually yung mangyari na makahanap ka ng mentor na matino. And at the same time, they would teach you the best of things. And one thing that I also see in Johnny Lawrence is that bad people do have a second chance at life.
Kahit sino naman.
Kasi hindi ako naniniwala talaga na actually ito yung nagiging problem din ng society natin ngayon. When you're labeled as the bad guy, do you still become the bad guy forever, diba?
Oo
nga, not always the case
And ito rin, just because perspective din yan eh. Doon mo makita. A bad guy, like perfect example, Barney Stinson. Karamihan sa mga society well accepted na si Daniel LaRusso ang Karate Kid, diba? For Barney Stinson, it was Johnny Lawrence.
And he had a very good point, actually.
A very, very good point. Kaya nga, feeling ko nga, diba, nasabi natin last time, kaya may Cobra Kai. Because of Barney freaking Stinson.
And I really love that guy. Kasi besides the bro code, kasi I was also inspired by a lot of his words. How I Met Your Mother was really controversial for me. And it's one of my favorite shows.
Exactly. Pero ito, tapusin na natin with only two. Ito, the two biggest clips, the two biggest screenshots na ma-reveal dun sa trailer. And of course, ang favorite ni Earl, none other than Kumiko. Diba?
Wala siyang pinagbago sa kasama.
Grabe. Oo. So when you see her, nakita mo siya sa trailer, parang, oh no, it's Kumiko! Magkikita ulit sila. Parang feeling ko, in a way, sa tingin ko magkakaroon ng rekindling of the old flame.
It's also possible.
Diba? Parang, it could possibly be magkaroon ng turbulence sa samahan ng asawa ni Daniel LaRusso tsaka si Daniel LaRusso.
Oh my God, you just gave me a theory.
Could be, diba?
Kasi remember yung part ng kay Kreese, diba? What if Kreese knows something na hindi alam ng wife ni Daniel, diba?
Could be. And ito pa, diba, pag si Ali pumasok pa sa season 3, it could be so much more na turbulence.
Yeah, oh
diba?
my God.
Ang ganda.
That's really something to look forward to.
So ang daming lalabas na that could be a plot, another subplot ng season 3 is yung marriage nila ni na kasi feeling ko it would boil down to yung roots ni Daniel LaRusso, yung syempre yung pagkakarate niya. Nakikita na natin sa season 2. It drove a wedge sa kanila nung asawa niya. But this could grow so much deeper sa mga past ni Daniel. Diba?
Yeah, that's true.
So yan na nga. And one of them is of course Kumiko. So yan na nga. And of course, one more, last and certainly not the least, our last breakdown ng trailer is your personal favorite?
Chosen.
Yes, si Chosen.
Yes. Now he looks like an angry old man.
Diba? Parang you're curious kung ano na yung nangyari sa kanya. And I don't know if they are living together with Kumiko or maybe it's different scenes, pero nagkaroon ng fight scene nung huli, 'di ba? I'm not even sure if parang sparring siya kasi they're on their uniforms, 'di ba?
Pero ang difference nun kasi may sai siya eh.
May what, sorry?
May sai. It's a weapon.
Parang
it's a little hook.
Meron. Okay,
kasi,
so
yung time na yun kasi actually one of the signature weapons of Miyagi-Do is the sai. If you remember what happened in Karate Kid Part 2, you would see different weapons in the Miyagi-Do dojo, right?
Oo nga.
Yeah, one of them is what we call the sai. So the sai is a very controversial weapon because for the fact na bigyan ko lang din kayo ng trivia. The sais were also used by ninjas. So or what we call shinobi. So during those ages kasi the normal weapons that you would see are usually from farmers, gardeners, and what we call fishermen. So
Kasi
usually,
fisherman nga si ano, 'di ba? Fisherman si
si
fisherman
Miyagi.
yung Miyagi, yes.
So usually, in relation to some of my experience with their traditions, I can say na it's one of the most controversial weapons ever used, but it's my first time to ever see it used in karate, in this certain franchise. Kasi before they weren't using weapons eh. The only time you saw Chosen use a weapon is through the spear, diba? In part 2.
Oo,
Pero,
tama.
kasi when he was using other weapons kasi, Chosen is very well rehearsed in Okinawan weapons. It's an Okinawan weapon.
Oo.
So, ito rin yung misconception din. Kasi just because karate came from Japan doesn't mean that their system is the same. Kasi when you go to Okinawa, there's a difference between Okinawan karate and Japanese karate. There's still a difference. And with this is yung tournament-based kasi na sinasabi mo, is the karate of Japan, of Nihon mismo. But Okinawa is different. Okinawa is more of a way of life for their martial art. So that's
Tama.
what makes their karate different from the other karate of Japan. And I'll debunk that siguro in another session of ours kasi medyo deeper na yun kasi I will be introducing probably the founders of modern karate.
Yes, let's save that for another episode. Pero ang nakikita natin is yun nga nagaano sila, they were I'm not sure if it's sparring or
it's sparring.
Sparring lang yun, nothing serious, you think?
Nothing. Pero yung na-curious ako kasi with what did Chosen say about Mr. Miyagi that Daniel doesn't know. Kasi according to Daniel, Mr. Miyagi was like a dad to him, correct? Pero there's something that Mr. Miyagi didn't tell you. That
Paano
was one
kaya,
thing.
What if siguro, I don't know what if one way or the other, anak pala ni Mr. Miyagi si Chosen.
Actually, hindi ko isip ko. That's the
Paano
first thing
kaya,
ever.
Ang weird. That's it's malabo kasi sa Karate Kid 2 parang parang hindi naman. Wala siyang endearment there's no endearment between the two of them, no?
And technically he's Sato's nephew eh.
Oo, yun na nga. Pero hindi natin alam, baka nga may hidden history na, 'di ba, ang imahe ni Mr. Miyagi is very pure kay Daniel LaRusso. Baka nga may masabi si Chosen na may dark past pala yun. Na hindi
actually
natin
meron
alam.
siya talaga if you reviews the first movie. There's this scene where Daniel LaRusso gives him the medals of honor. Oo. Yun yung tungkol sa war, no? Yung family niya. The reason why Mr. Miyagi hated those medals because during the time that he got those medals, and it was an honorable discharge. So, during that time kasi namatay rin yung family niya. So then he didn't have a home to come to.
Ang saklap kasi nun kasi kaya ginawa yun nung army. It was because kasi nga Japanese, kalaban nila Japan. So they were sent to pinadala sila sa sa camps.
Internment camps.
Oo. So baka in a way, so nasuspetsa na spy. So nung mga nganak na, shucks, walang nag-attend. So that was dark.
And another thing din na
nalaman ko lang yun nung napanood ko ulit. Sabi ko, God, ang saklap.
And we can also relate this to a similar scenario in the new Karate Kid with Jaden Smith where Mr. Han breaks the car. It's the same, but it's different kasi doon naman it's more of a family problem than what Mr. Miyagi experienced. Sa kanya kasi it's external. Kasi yung time na yun, ang difference nga lang nila with Mr. Han, it was because of Mr. Han that the accident happened because he was angry with his wife. So, si Mr. Miyagi naman, he wasn't there. yun yung mas masaklap. You weren't there during the time na namatay yung family mo. So it was really bad for him in that sense. And one thing na natutunan ko rin from that scene was, besides the fact that you should cherish your loved ones, you should also, make it a point that even if you go through hardships, you should never ever let it break your spirit. You have to keep moving forward no matter what. Kaya dun ako hangang-hangang kay Mr. Miyagi. Kasi he pursued his life in the United States. Kasi hindi siya pwede bumalik ng Japan, di ba?
Kaya nga all of all those years, kahit na hindi siya, sinacrifice niya yung pagsasama nila nung, di ba may girl siya doon sa Japan, na dapat ipakakasal kay Sato. Pero dahil gusto rin ni Mr. Miyagi, na kaya nga sila nagkagalit ni Sato, di ba? Because of that incident.
Yes, because it was a love triangle that wasn't meant to be.
Yeah, oo.
Kasi napapansin ko yun nagiging, yung kay Sato kasi, it was one-sided love. And pansin mo rin, hindi mo ba nakikita na may
It was arranged marriage dapat actually.
Mm-hmm. And at the same time, may feelings kasi rin si Sato for the girl. Kaya gusto niyang pakasalan. Yung problema, since kakalabanin niya yung best friend niya, yung best friend naman din niya, if I were to be in Mr. Miyagi's shoes, I would walk away. Kasi I wouldn't want to kill my best friend, diba?
Ayun pa, kasi fight to the death
something out of something petty. Kasi it's the problem. During those times, yung mga themes ng mga movies na yun was how to prevent wars from happening, how to not break relationships. Mm-hmm. Kasi yun yung napapansin mo, when Daniel LaRusso became part of part 3, pansin mo, his life changed, diba? Kasi besides nasistress siya sa business niya, nasistress din siya dun sa mga taong nagsasabi sa kanya na kailangan na yung title niya kailangan i-hold, diba? I-defend yung title niya. And at the same time, he's breaking his relationships already. Kaya nga sinabi ni Mr. Miyagi, you have to have strong roots, like the bonsai.
Oo, yun, naalala ko yun. Tama, correct.
So, yun yung mga scenarios din na until now, very favorable din sa akin. And at the same time, yan yung mga favorite lessons ko. Na I even teach it to my students kasi, there's also a good thing about Karate Kid that I've learned is that in order for you to become a good teacher, you have to be a good student at the same time. Kasi
exactly.
Yung problema rin kasi, we are what we pass on to. So, yun yung mga scenarios din na I would say even in different cultures, as long as you have a good legacy to pass it on as long as you can. Kasi ngayon nga tayo sinasabi rin na diba? I would rather die a hero than see myself long enough to become the villain, diba?
Yes, Batman yun, The Dark Knight. Or end up like John Kreese. Diba?
Yes, he's the embodiment of what Batman would be if he crossed the line. Yan yung mangyayari sa kanya.
So ayun kaya it's very good even though Cobra Kai syempre na the best thing about Cobra Kai is it's very the storytelling and at the same time very culturally relevant kasi sila lang they're one of the few shows that are malakas ang loob, that are brave enough to go against the SJW culture. Kasi napapansin mo with Hollywood is very kasi alam mo wala namang masama sa when you're trying to bring your beliefs and all that stuff into the movie, but if you're pushing it, shoving it in the fans and compromising the storyline, 'di ba? Like yung ginawa nila sa Charlie's Angels, ginawa nila sa Ghostbusters na reboot, sa Captain Marvel, 'di ba? And so many more movies. And kahit sa TV series, yung Batgirl, 'di ba? Si Batgirl. Yung Girl Boss, 'di ba? And so many more.
Yeah, yan yung mga siguro mga few movies mo masasabi ko purist. Kasi innocent yung intention mo kasi. That's I think one thing that the filmmakers, producers and people in the media should know. Because as long as your content is pure enough, it can reach the hearts of many people without you knowing. And at the same time, it becomes more meaningful to others than shoving it into your faces. Like, it's like hard selling them.
Exactly.
And that's one thing na nakikita ko na nagiging nawawalan ng spark yung Hollywood when it came to those films. And it's also one of my inspirations then kasi one thing that inspired me to become a filmmaker myself is Bruce Lee. Bruce Lee taught me a lot of things about how to film, how to look at life problems. Kasi may sinasabi rin sa akin yung teacher ko dati na Wing Chun problems are also life problems. What you carry in the dojo itself is also how you deal with things in real life. The only difference is that in real life, we do it in a way that it's acceptable for humans to relate to. Unlike fighting with your fists, the most important thing you have to have and to learn is to fight with your mind. The mind is more relevant than the body.
Tama.
Yun yung
Because the body cannot produce or cannot function properly without a proper mind.
Mm-hmm. And this is where mindset comes in. Kasi,
Exactly.
Actually, meron akong i-share din kasi sa experience ko kasi, there were times then I would also ask myself, why do I keep on doing the same kata every single day? Pero I came to a conclusion na I practice every day because I know what will come tomorrow. Kasi usually when you practice every day kasi that is your dedication. 1 minute, actually, kahit nga lang, gawin mo nga lang siya for 30 seconds, okay lang din. Pero once you train your mind to do things in a small amount of time, you have time to intercept your problems even before they happen. You have to win it all in your mind. And that's one thing that prepared me for. Kata prepared me for the dangers that might come to me in the small amount of time that happens. So I have to intercept the problem even before it happens. So you have to think of all the worst case scenarios that could happen in a situation and intercept it and solve it. Yun lang sa akin.
And siguro another para sa akin pinaka-importanting trait or pinaka-importanting value or philosophy na natutunan natin sa Cobra Kai is with seasons 1 and 2 that there's always, sinabi natin kanina to, the road to redemption. Diba? For
Yes.
once who was a bad guy is now on his way to become good and in the most imperfect way pero in the most effective way. And lalo na ngayon, ito yung mga tinatawag nating unsung heroes ng society ngayon is these fathers na kasi pag sinabi mong ang nagiging stigma ngayon sa mga ibang tatay dyan is nangiiwan, yung ganon. But there are people who want to get back into their life. And I think, alam mo, dapat, society should not be too cruel with the term patriarchy, with masculinity, and because dahil sa Cobra Kai, we can all kahit babae ka, kahit lalaki ka, everyone has a chance to redeem themselves. Na hindi pinipili ang gender, race, kung sino ang masama at sinong mabuti,
And I totally agree with that. Kasi right now, society really needs to learn to set aside our differences talaga. Kasi with society right now, we're in the bridge of not just redeeming ourselves. Kasi syempre pandemic ngayon, diba?
Yes.
But this is also the best time to reflect on what you want to do with your life. And one thing that Cobra Kai instills in us is that there is always a second chance as long as you either create the chance, you make the chance, and you believe in the chance. Kasi it's more about faith. Kasi one thing that Cobra Kai did that Miyagi-Do couldn't do is that it doesn't promote your self-confidence in a way that you feel comfortable with your own skin. Pansin mo, siguro yung pinakamagandang example ko with Cobra Kai that really stepped up, Aisha.
Yes. Pero
Kasi
balita ko wala na siya sa season 3
Oo nga yung sayang din. Kasi I was waiting for her. Kasi, Aisha, it's like the voice of reason din for
Exactly.
for
Cobra
LaRusso. And Cobra Kai kasi she was the only person who's ever been parang the arbiter between Miyagi-Do and Cobra Kai kasi syempre it's her best friend na
Best friend niya si
tatamaan, diba?
Samantha eh. Oo.
Mm-hmm.
At the same, sila ni Johnny Lawrence actually. Kasi nga, anak niya nasa Miyagi-Do. Kaya nga, naging reluctant siya, di ba, nung nanalo si Miguel, na parang, what if, mapapaisip ko, what if it wasn't Robbie na nasa finals? Would Miguel have the same, Johnny Lawrence have the same soft na mercy sa kanyang opponent ni Miguel? Pero nagkataon na anak niya yung nasa finals. Diba? So, conflicting. Ang ganda ka. There's a conflict talaga. And it's beautiful.
Pero I would also think of the same scenario with Kreese pa rin. Kasi even if it's not Robbie, Johnny would flashback kung ano yung sinabi sa kanya ni Kreese.
Sa bagay. Oo. Sweep the leg. Diba?
Pero there were so many things din kasi na I can relate yung sweep the leg na part. Alam mo bakit? Kasi this is not just applied in martial arts. Even in the workplace, 'di ba? Matetest yung corporate ethics mo when it comes to that.
There you go.
Kasi dito yung application nun. One thing that people don't see na sometimes there are relations within martial arts that are also relatable in real life. Kaya what you learn in the dojo is essential not just in the dojo but in real life. That's what makes us so different.
Yeah.
Kasi yung problem din ng generation ngayon is that they weren't taught to fail. Actually, that is the wrong thing. Kasi our forefathers failed first before they could ever create anything.
Tama. Ngayon kasi masyadong, like people are so into their safe spaces right now. When in fact, when you're supposed to be on your outside your comfort zone in order for you to succeed. Diba?
Kaya yun yung mga tinitingnan dapat natin yun. Actually, napapansin ko rin, nako-correct na rin siya ng Cobra Kai in a sense.
Yes.
Kasi, we have to learn to fail first before we can become more successful in life. Kasi
perfect
this example. And si Johnny Lawrence. Kasi Johnny Lawrence created Cobra Kai out of thin air.
Oo.
And,
nabalik na lang, out of nowhere. Na supposedly banned ang Cobra Kai.
Then yung nakita nila yung true intentions niya kasi that's when things changed. Kasi para sa akin, it was also a good move. Kasi not only just convincing the judges, pero to something to prove to yourself. Kasi one thing I liked about John na wala kay Daniel kasi, di ba, ni-mention ko rin sa'yo about self-confidence, di ba? Miyagi-Do only makes you confident in the right situation. Pero yung belief in yourself, as in totally belief in yourself without a person ever supporting you, that's a different story na. And that's what Cobra Kai did na mas maganda pa compared kay Miyagi-Do. It taught you the self-confidence you needed to strike in a situation. Kaya nga strike first, strike hard, no mercy. So, doon ko na nakita yun. And it's really a beautiful thing. It's a very beautiful show. Kudos to whoever created it.
Congratulations. And now we shall end on that note. Alright. And what a conversation about Karate Kid, about Cobra Kai. And we're so happy na it's about damn time na sa wakas magkakaroon na ng Cobra Kai Season 3 next. Not just, actually hindi na next month in a few weeks.
In a few weeks na lang.
Konting tulog na lang yan. Konting paligo na lang. Cobra Kai Season 3 na. And we're looking forward to the new storylines and the new plot twists and the new returning characters. Sana magkaroon tayo ng marami. And thank you, Josh, for once again joining me here in Voice of the Boys,
Honored to meet.
And grabe, I can't, your knowledge in these kinds of things, grabe, talagang ang laki ng tulong niya.
Yes, we're trying to make the world a better place, diba?
Yeah, this has been such a huge help. And I hope more people watch Cobra Kai and the Karate Kid series, And I feel like this would really help your personality grow and yourselves grow outside that comfort zone, because in a world where everyone is looking for their safe space and fighting for their own social justice, we need a counter culture And I say this, na counterculture na ngayon ang shows like Cobra Kai where, you know, mga no-nonsense storytelling is good, you know, na walang, these are not for the easily offended. And this is a show for you to watch. Especially this coming 2020. Because this will be, ito, for those who are already disillusioned, this nabubwisit na sa nakikita nyo, mga pa-woke, mga SJW snowflakes all over social media. This is a breath of fresh air. And I hope for more content like this to come. And with that, once again, mga kariktards, stay triggered.
Stay triggered.
Oh my
Stay
God! Oh my God! Oh my God, I'm so triggered. I'm so attacked. Thank you very much. Once again, this is the Rick Matthews. And ang susunod nating episode is going to be, because it's the holiday season, next year na po tayo magre-resume, January. So see you next year, mga kariktards, for more Voice of the Boys. And marami tayong mga content sa pag-uusapan. We're gonna be talking about, na pag-usapan natin, MCU. So, yan ang magiging potential nating topic for the next episode. Or, pwede rin How I Met Your Mother. Diba? We can talk about How I Met Your Mother. Ang dami. We can, even after those episodes, we can talk about certain characters. We can talk about Barney Stinson, Ted Mosby. We can talk about Iron Man. We can talk about Black Panther. That's what I love about Voice of the Boys. Maraming pag-uusapan. The topics are almost endless. Because in here, we like to tackle more on the psychology, the philosophy, and the what do you call this? The personality of each character and each scene. And that's why we're here for more Voice of the Boys. And that's what the show is all about. So I hope you enjoyed this episode, mga kariktards. And once again, thank you so much, Josh, for joining me.
Thank you.
Mga kariktards, see you again next year for another edition of Voice of the Boys. Once again, the Rick Matthews. Like and subscribe on my Facebook, YouTube, and TikTok channel. And peace out, everyone. Have a wonderful Christmas and an amazing New Year.